Welcome to the Calls with Clients podcast, episode 5. I adopted a dangerous dog. This one's pretty serious. They adopted a dog they didn't know was aggressive, and now it's starting to show some scary tendencies, and they're not so sure that this is something that they signed up for or want to deal with, and it's kind of a hard conversation.
I am okay.
Yeah, I got your message, so I just thought I'd give you a call and talk to you a little bit about everything.
Yeah, I'd love to know what your take was.
Yeah. I mean, you can imagine that these situations pop up quite frequently in my line of business. Mm-hmm. And kind of like we were talking about, sometimes when I'm trying to educate and, have honest discussions, it sounds like I'm bad-mouthing other industries or people, but I just know the playing field so well. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know. So you reach back out to the rescue, and I kind of can imagine what they said, but I'd rather just have you tell me.
Well, the first person I called, I said, we have some real issues and I need to speak with someone right away.
Okay.
I didn't get a call back for like 5 hours. So there was a person who was my dog manager when I was fostering her.
Okay.
So I called her. She was very responsive. She talked to me and, kind of asked me a little bit more to explain what we'd done. And I said, I see, Walter and I were up all night. We were talking in the middle of the night, trying to figure out what we were willing to do.
Sure.
And what kind of responsibility we're willing to take. And,
yes.
We have 9 grandkids and a huge family.
Exactly.
I just don't think we can deal with this risk.
Yeah, and
for another 12 years.
I can totally understand. I'm going to talk you through what you're dealing with.
Okay.
Like, for instance, I don't think we got a chance to talk about this in this kind of detail, but this is a conversation I unfortunately have to have, a couple dozen times a year probably, just to make sure where we're at. And, listen, it's never going to change here in Arizona. They're adopting out dogs that are aggressive. They aren't doing the proper assessments. Unfortunately, I've never seen, they claim to have all these behavior resources around the dogs and people on staff and know stuff. Their skill level is never even good enough to determine that the dog is dangerous, let alone fix it. So they are adopting out dangerous dogs a lot in the rescue world here in Arizona. It is what it is. I'm not making things up. Every day they're adopting out dogs that are attacking people. And they typically, when you go back to the rescue, and maybe you'll tell me what they said, no matter what you tell them, they're like, well, it wasn't like that with us. And that's typically all you get from them, instead of the true understanding that and responsibility that they adopted this dog out probably before they should have, and they didn't assess it properly. Now, you have a situation now where you have a dog, you had no idea any of this was really going on. You didn't cause it. It was there. The dog trainer coming in and assessing it didn't cause it. I just identified it, right? And any owner, sometimes it's owners that have raised the dog their whole lives, but they say, I'll just give you a story. All I can do is give you stories. I had a lady recently, it's a friend of a friend. She likes to adopt older dogs. She adopted an older Mastiff, but they had told her this dog's aggressive and nobody should adopt it, but they let her take it anyway. She thought it wasn't aggressive with her. We started trying to work with it. Then it started turning on her a bit and going after her cats. And she said, you know what? I like the idea of helping these older dogs and Mastiffs out, but I can't take this. This is too much. And I said, the dog, listen, these dogs, the reality is, this doesn't fall on you. It's the rescue's fault. The dog can't be fixed without a committed owner. Once an owner reaches its limits, I have my limits too. My limit is, if the owner can't muzzle condition their own dog, I'm not involved. Sorry, I don't think we should be retraining that dog. I think, unfortunately, it's too late. Or somebody that trusts the dog can muzzle condition it. If not, we're really screwed there. But what happens lots of time is the person like you didn't sign on to this. You have a whole other life. If you reach your limitation, your personal limitation in relation to this dog, nobody has the right to give you shit about it. Nobody. The dog is dangerous. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. There's potential danger there. I mean, and it doesn't mean we can't fix her, but again, it doesn't fit. It doesn't seem to be. The options are only this, and the rescue world won't do it. They'll take this dog out and happily adopt it out again. But when I have an owner that already owns the dog and there's no rescue involved, well, with this lady, she went back to the rescue and said, "Hey, I'm scared of the dog. Greg has advised me that this dog can't be adopted back. I don't feel comfortable adopting this dog out to another family because that's just pushing the risk. The same way that the rescue, whether unknowingly or otherwise, push that risk onto you and the danger involved. You can't do that to somebody else. So the three options are you can't adopt out the dog. The two options are you team up with somebody like me and you grind it out and you're committed no matter what, or you reach your limitations." And I would even tell the rescue, you know what, you either got to get this dog into some serious rehabilitation and forget about adopting it out, or euthanize it. There is no other way. You have to get it fixed before you...
Well,
they won't listen to any of it.
I did tell her that. I said,
okay,
we see two options.
Yeah.
Either we return the dog to you, but the dog, as she is right now, and knowing what I know, she's not really adoptable.
Yeah.
Or we go ahead and euthanize her, which I'm just heartbroken about it. But
well, we're talking now, so we can talk through it and try to, the bad decisions.
Walter's much more, I'm the emotional one.
I am too.
More, he can see. And he was the one who first voiced it. And he said, do we want to live the rest of our lives with her being on edge all the time, not being able to let your guard down? She goes in a crate every time someone comes in the house. What if we're camping and she gets loose?
She's not safe
and goes
right now.
after a kid in the campground.
And listen, my thing is
we can't do that.
We fix a lot of dogs, but again, there's a listen, I would never want people to turn around and go, "Oh, he's a dog trainer that recommends euthanasia all the time." No, when the dog that has major behavior problems doesn't have a person that just doesn't reach this limitation, which is totally understandable for you to hit, totally understandable. When they don't have it, they don't have a chance. There is no starting point for that dog being fixed, because we
were the foster.
But where was the dog? Did they ever have it in their in their hands?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
No, it was at the Arizona Animal Welfare League.
Yeah.
And so...
But see, that's like the bigger...
connection there.
Yeah, that's the bigger... That's why I personally, again, I'm not, I can't be affiliated with any rescues because the business practices are really not right. You can't be passing a dog from one organization without ever meeting it or evaluating it and you don't even know what you're passing on. So, again, the business practices, I'm not vilifying anybody, but you see why they keep running into problems. They're adopting out dangerous dogs, and they don't have a lot of good options for you. And, they'll, you like to think, the reality is that, it's not totally your responsibility, but at the same time, they don't have any professionals that could, take this dog in, or they take the dog in with, the ignorance of acting like it's not potentially dangerous. And that happens a lot in the rescue world. So many rescue people are around dogs.
Hopefully it's not, because I'll insist. So the upshot of it is the gal who runs the organization is supposed to call me. She's driving to Texas right now. She's supposed to call me in the morning, and she wants to hear it all from me before she makes the decision.
It's hard to tell. I mean, I just met the dog for that hour, and we're just trying to figure out how to start working with her. You have no way of knowing right away how easy or difficult they are to fix. We just know that that dog's clearly hand and touch sensitive, and again, a lot of people at the rescue, the dog will not show that on. And you don't, I talk about people, it's you don't hide from the behavior, you find out what it is. Well, we're around them all the time, and they're nice with me. And it's but, have you tested them across the board? And there's a thing called the ASPA SAFER model for evaluating a dog. And it's a thing that probably kept me safe early in my career. The rescue I worked with early in my career wouldn't let me go near the dogs that weren't a 1, 2, or 3. If they were 4, 5, or 6, nobody saw them. They very well may have to get euthanized. And God forbid we start advertising we have these dogs that have all these behavior problems and people want them. But here in Arizona, they just advertise every dog before they don't do any independent assessment at all. They don't need to have an expert like me. They just got to follow the rules. You got to do things like use a fake hand to grab the food, all kinds of stuff. And that dog would have, in that process, probably gone after the hand or something at some point. They could have just written it down and known. But they never really find out any of that. So there's no assessment done whatsoever.
That's true.
They'll say, oh, the dog's nice with me, and they're food luring it. And I was telling you, like I said, we showed it with the food luring with that dog. That dog will look good with certain people's food and bite other people right through the food. You know what I mean? It's potentially one of those dogs, potentially. But the people that will train it most of the time, or be at the rescues, will always get that response of the good food response. Yeah, and so they can't ever understand this dog is what we saw. And so
what was your gut feeling?
Well, my gut feeling is it's just what we saw. I don't have to really feel anything. I know that the dog is hand and touch sensitive beyond belief and has severe sensitivity to eye and frontal contact. These are all just classic things, and it has boundary issues with people where it will crowd you and probably want everybody else off of you. It's overly attached to people, and these are all common things. And I'm just trying to give honest information from one about the dog. I don't have any axe to grind. I care. You know, if they want to take the dog back in and figure out a way to start working with it, I'll be happy to help them in some way. But I do get burnt by these rescues all the time, so I don't really mess with them anymore.
Yeah,
so,
I don't blame you.
You never, ever had any dogs with any behavior problems. You weren't looking to find this. And you called me before you were feeling these things. You sensed these things. You saw some of the lunging, right? And so it was there. It was nothing you caused. And it was just, these dogs start getting a little bit more comfortable. And then the true them comes out, you know, and it may take a little while, but I really do believe a lot of this behavior was already in there, and it was just...
Oh, yeah. I mean, we did nothing to traumatize her.
Exactly, and they're going to say, hey, maybe they don't know why or whatever, and then you can just say, hey, listen, it's okay to reach your limitations, you know, and even though there are options for people that don't reach their limitations, it's the team effort, and it totally makes sense that you would say, hey, listen, this is too big of a risk factor at this point in my life, everything that's going on, right? Again, we know this dog lived with somebody for a couple years, but so many of these dogs, they don't know where they were, what they did, what's going on with them, and they don't evaluate them. So
and people aren't honest when they turn them in either. Well, I do know that they're all fostered in homes.
Okay.
And they ask you to keep the dog at least 2 or 3 weeks. But by 3 weeks, right before that 3-week mark, we decided to go ahead and adopt her.
Yeah.
So, you know, we paid the adoption fee, and then it was like right after that.
Huh.
And I called my person who was the dog manager, and I said, you know, I need help with training. And she recommended 2 people and said, well, our usual trainer is really busy. So I felt like I was like the poor kid, you know, they didn't really help me.
Yeah.
I called both of those people, and neither one called me back. And that's when I went to see Dr. Mike, and I asked him, and he gave me your name.
Yeah, you know, it sucks that I have to educate in all these areas. I'm so sorry you've had to go through this.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate you coming out and sharing your time and everything with us, but I think we're not going to do the Saturday visit.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Let me know what happens and if I can advise
I
you
will.
in any way. And I care. I hope that we can find somebody for her eventually. She probably is a sweet dog. It's hard to tell how quickly she can learn. I did notice that once she started responding to that air, she started kind of getting, you know, some possible shutdown ability. So I think she's smart, but she's just, you know, not for you.
Yeah.
You can see what a difficult decision these people have to make, and I'm just glad I can give them good advice. Thanks for listening to the Calls with Clients podcast, episode 5, I Adopted a Dangerous Dog. Never forget change is possible, and follow us on our YouTube channel at Personal Dog Training 1, and also check us out at personaldogtraining.org.